Listen to me. You can have excuses or you can have results, but you cannot have both. You've got two choices every single morning. Lay in bed and dream or get up and chase it. And I'm telling you right now, your grind, your hustle, your discipline will live long after your excuses are dead and forgotten. Excuses sound best to the person who's making them. Excuses are lies wrapped up in reason. And I've heard them all. I'm tired. I didn't have the support. I wasn't born into the right family. I failed before. But guess what? Nobody's trying to hear that. The world only respects execution. They only respect the one who showed up. Tired, broke, rejected, broken, but still showed up. Let me ask you something. When it's all said and done, when they talk about your life, will they talk about your grind or your excuses? Will they say, he never gave up? Or, he always had a reason why he couldn't start? Because listen, grind is legacy. Grind is when your name outlives your pain. Grind is when your children eat because of what you built, not what you blame. You can't make excuses and expect to win champs. You can't hit your goals if you're hugging your excuses tighter than your dreams. You want to succeed? Then stop waiting for permission and get to work. When your grind becomes louder than your doubt, your vision will start to speak for itself. Don't talk about it, be about it. When you grind, day after day, through failure, through pain, through silence, through fear, the world takes notice. But you got to decide today that the grind will be stronger than the excuse. Because at the end of the day, your grind will echo in eternity. Your excuses, they die with you. But your grind, that lives on. You can't have excuses and results living under the same roof. It's either one or the other. See, we live in a world where everybody wants success. Everybody wants greatness. Everybody wants the spotlight, the rewards, the results. But nobody wants to evict the excuses from their lives. And I'm telling you right now, that's why most people never make it to their full potential. Excuses are roommates with comfort, and results are roommates with grind, and the two can't live together. They don't get along. You want to know why your life ain't moving? Why your bank account's still empty? Why your dreams still sitting on paper? Because every time you should be grinding, you having a conversation with your excuses. Every time it's time to wake up early, push past pain, or go the extra mile, your excuses showing up, putting their feet up on your ambition, sitting on your couch, eating up your time, and telling you it's okay to take it easy, and you listening. But let me tell you something. Results don't show up where excuses live. That's like oil and water, light and darkness. They can't exist in the same space. One has got to go. You've got dreams, goals, a purpose. But until you get rid of those excuses, that purpose is stuck in traffic. You got a destiny waiting for you, but you got all this mental baggage blocking the driveway. I'm too tired. I'm too tired. I don't have enough money. I wasn't born in the right environment. I failed last time, so I'm scared to try again. That's noise, bro. That's static. That's junk taking up space in the room where your future's supposed to live. You can't rent out space in your heart to fear and then wonder why faith never checks in. You can't keep feeding your excuses with your energy and your time and then wonder why your results malnourished and weak. You want results? Then start treating your excuses like enemies. You want success? Then stop entertaining reasons why it might not work. See, the grind don't have time to argue with the excuse. The grind wakes up and gets to work. The grind don't care about the weather. The grind don't care about how you feel. The grind don't even care if you believe it'll work today. The grind just moves. That's why results follow the grind. Because the grind is consistent, the grind is loyal, the grind is disciplined, and excuses are none of that. Some of y'all got the talent. Some of y'all got the ideas. Some of y'all got the vision. But you still broke mentally, emotionally, financially. Not because you can't do it, but because you won't kick the excuses out your mind. You treating your excuses like they're your therapist, like they're your best friend. Every time something doesn't go your way, you invite the excuse back in like, oh, come on in. Yeah, I know I should have started that thing, but you're right. I was too busy. No, cut that off. There are people out there grinding with half of what you got. There are people out there turning pain into power, flipping rejection into redirection, turning nothing into legacy. And here you are full of potential, handcuffed by a lie you keep telling yourself. Because that's all excuses are, lies dressed in logic. And they sound good, don't they? They sound sweet in the moment, but they don't get you paid. They don't build your brand. They don't raise your kids right. They don't inspire the next generation. Excuses leave you broke and bitter, while results leave you proud and fulfilled. You gotta make the decision, right here, right now, which one you wanna live with. Some people talk like they want results, but they treat their excuses better than their goals. They feed their excuses, nurture them, protect them, and then when nothing happens, they wonder why. It's simple. You kept results locked out while you let excuses move in and redecorate your whole life. It's time to change the lies. It's time to pack those excuses up, show them the door, and evict every lazy, fearful, toxic thought that's been holding your potential hostage. It's time to grind unlike your future depends on it, because it does. You got dream? Then grind. You got vision? Then execute. Because once you stop making excuses, results have no choice but to show up. It's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent. It's about showing up to your life like it matters. It's about refusing to let your circumstances define you and choosing instead to let your grind refine you. You were built for this. You were born to win. But the grind is the only key that opens the door to that version of you. So make up your mind. Either you let excuses kill your greatness, or you let your grind make history. You can't have that both. You can't sit on the couch with excuses and expect success to not. You either get up, get out, and get to work, or you keep dreaming about results that will never come. The grind don't lie. The grind don't take shortcuts. The grind tells the truth about who you really are. Excuses are nothing but lies, straight up. Lies you tell yourself so you don't have to grow, so you don't have to stretch, so you don't have to feel that burn that comes with effort. See, nobody lies to you more than you. You don't need enemies when your own mind is feeding you the same stories over and over again to keep you small. That voice in your head, that's not the truth. That's the trap. It's telling you things like you're not ready, you don't have enough, you'll fail like last time, or this isn't the right moment. And every time you believe it, you're handing over another piece of your dream. That voice isn't looking out for you. It's keeping you safe in the bubble of mediocrity. And I'm here to tell you today, you're not just lying to yourself, you're robbing yourself. You're stealing time. You're stealing progress. You're stealing opportunity. And the worst part, you're doing it with a straight face, with logic like it actually makes sense. Excuses are comfort food for your fears. They taste good in the moment, but they leave you bloated with regret. You tell yourself, I'll start when I have more time. Lie. You got time right now, but you spend it scrolling, watching, chilling. You said, I'm too tired today. You weren't too tired to binge Netflix. You weren't too tired to hit the party. But when it came time to grind, to read, to learn, to build, to learn, to build, suddenly the fatigue hit. Why? Because excuses are always there to protect your laziness, to wrap it in a blanket and call it logic. But it's not logic. It's sabotage. You are sabotaging your own life because it's easier to lie to yourself than to face the truth that you're scared. It's okay to be scared, but it's not okay to lie. Not to yourself, not to the person in the mirror who has dreams, who has purpose, who deserves more. You see, the reason people make excuses is not because they're weak, it's because they got comfortable. And comfort is the enemy of greatness. Ain't nothing grown in comfort. You don't get stronger sitting still. You don't get better by playing it safe. You gotta step into the stretch zone, the uncomfortable space where growth lives. And the reason excuses feel so good is because they let you avoid that stretch. They let you stay where it's warm, where it's predictable. But nothing about your purpose is predictable. Nothing about becoming who you were meant to be. It's supposed to feel easy. That's why the excuse shows up, to keep you in a place where you don't have to feel pain. But here's the truth. Growth requires pain. Progress demands struggle. The breakthrough is on the other side of being uncomfortable. But you can't get there if you keep lying to yourself and calling it self-care or balance or timing. No, you're not waiting on the right moment. You're delaying your greatness. Excuses come dressed in logic, but they're poison in disguise. They will kill your goals silently, slowly, one lie at a time. You all lie. I'm too old to lie. I'm not smart enough. Another lie, another support. Lie. How they won't listen to me. Lie. I don't know where to start. Every one of those thoughts is a trap. And the more you repeat them, the more you believe them, and the deeper the lie takes root in your soul, until one day you actually think that stuff is the truth. Until one day you stop dreaming altogether. You stop trying. And then you look back and realize the only thing that stood between you and your next level wasn't your boss, your family, your haters, your city, your upbringing. It was your own mouth feeding you lies daily. You became your own biggest obstacle. You've got to wake up. You've got to check that voice. You've got to challenge it. When it says, I can't, you say, why not? When it says it's not the right time, you say, then when it? You've got to stop letting the lie drive the car. Because every time you make an excuse, you give that lie the keys to your life. And it don't care if you crash. But your purpose, your future, they're sitting in the back seat, hoping one day you'll throw that excuse out and take the wheel again. It's not too late. But you've got to start telling yourself the truth, that you're capable, that you're chosen, that you're stronger than you feel, that you got what it takes. Not next year, not next month, right now. But you got to choose truth over comfort. You got to choose effort over escape. You've got to choose the grind over the DI. You were built for more than a life full of reasons why you didn't make it. And the truth is, the world doesn't care about your excuses. It only responds to results. Your family needs results. Your dream needs results. Your legacy needs results. Your legacy needs results. Excuses don't pay bills. Excuses don't build empires. Excuses don't feed hungry mouths. Grind does. Truth does. Action does. So I dare you today, stop telling yourself the lie, call it what it is. There's gonna come a time, if it hasn't already, when nobody believes in you. Nobody's clapping. Nobody's watching. Nobody's patting you on the back. And you feel like you're out here grinding alone. Let me tell you something. That's when the real ones rise. That's when your grind starts speaking louder than your name. See, people love to support you after you make it, but they disappear when you're still building. They don't see the hours. They don't see the tears. They don't see the sacrifices. And you can't expect them to. Because the grind was never meant to be a group activity. It's personal. It's you versus you. It's you waking up when the alarm hits at 4:30 and the only thing pushing you out of bed is your purpose, not praise. It's you hitting the gym, studying, training, building, creating, day after day. Not because someone told you you're amazing, but because deep down you know you were born for more. You see, when nobody believes in you, that's when you gotta double down on yourself. You've gotta bet everything on your work ethic. You've gotta let your grind so loud that one day, even the people who ignored you will have no choice but to hear you. And not because you shouted louder, but because your results became undeniable. That's the power of the grind. Oh, it's a language every soul on this planet understands. See, you don't have to convince people with words when your actions are preaching louder than any speech could. You don't have to scream. You don't have to scream. Or believe in me when your consistency is screaming. Watch this. The grind is your proof. The grind is your microphone. The grind is your armor when doubt surrounds you. And you feel like folding, but don't. Don't fold. Don't fade. Don't flinch. Lean into it. Because when you grind in the dark, you shine in the light. When you grind in silence, you dominate in the noise. Too many people stop grinding because they ain't getting applause, because nobody reposted them, because nobody liked their video, because their friends aren't hyping them up. Let me tell you right now, stop looking for validation from people who ain't chasing what you're chasing. Stop expecting people to clap for a vision they can't see. It was given to you, not them. So stop crying over who walked away. Stop waiting for someone to cosine. You don't need permission to grind. Your work speaks for itself. You want to prove them wrong? Good. But not by talking, by executing. Let your actions be the quote. Let your hustle be the headline. Let your results be the response. And here's what I know. The grind don't lie. The grind don't play favorites. The grind don't care where you're from, who your parents are, how many followers you got. The grind responds to discipline. The grind respects effort, and it will pay you a portion of your consistency. You might not be the smartest, the fastest, the strongest, but if you're the most consistent, the most dedicated, the one who shows up every day no matter what, the one who works even when it hurts, you win. That's the truth nobody tells you. You don't need to be chosen. You just need to keep showing up. You don't need fans. You need focus. You don't need luck. You need legacy. And legacy is built one grind session at a time. There were days I had nothing but my grind, no spotlight, no microphone. Just me and my purpose. And I promise you, that's enough. The grind will comfort you when no one else is checking in. The grind will remind you who you are when the world forgets your name. Because the grind is honest, it gives you exactly what you put in. It might not come today. It might not come today. It might not come tomorrow. But if you stay faithful to the process, the payoff will come. That's why I tell you, fall in love with the work. Don't fall in love with the outcome. Fall in love with the sweat. Fall in love with the process. Fall in love with that inner voice that says, let's go again. When your body says, we're done. Because that voice, that's the voice of greatness. That's the voice of destiny. That's the sound of your future calling. So yeah, maybe they don't believe in you. So what? Believe in yourself harder. Believe in your grind harder. Because one day, those same people who ignored you will say, I always knew you'd make it. And you won't have to say a word. Your life will speak for you. Your results will tell the story. But until then, get back to work. Stop checking your phone for praise and start checking your habits. Stop looking around for fans and start looking inward for fire. You don't need their love. You need your discipline. You don't need their validation. You need your vision. Show up today like your future's watching, because it is. Show up today like the version of you 5 years from now is counting on you, because they are. Nobody may believe in you now, but one day the whole world will hear your grind. You've been lied to if you think you need motivation to make it. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are fragile. They come and go like the wind. 1 minute you're fired up because you saw a quote or watched a hype video, and the next minute life hits you with reality. Rinse, dude, your body's tired, your mind's foggy, nobody's cheering, and suddenly that motivation is gone. That's why I tell people, don't build your grind on emotion. Build it on discipline, because when you operate on discipline, you become dangerous. Why? Because discipline don't care about your feelings. Discipline doesn't care if it's raining, if you're sore, if you're sad, if you're tired. Discipline shows up. Discipline executes. Discipline does the work when motivation disappears. That's the difference between the ones who talk and the ones who conquer. The ones who rely on hype will fall when the hype fades. But the ones who rely on habits, they're the ones still standing after the storm. Let me be real with you. Motivation is good, but it's not enough. It might get you started, but it won't get you to the finish line. You don't need more hype. You don't need more hype. You don't need louder music. You need grit. You need that unshakable mindset that says, even if I don't feel like it, I'm going to do it anyway. You need that internal thermostat that doesn't change just because the temperature around you does. That's what discipline is. It's a decision you make every day. Not based on how you feel, but based on who you said you'd be. Discipline don't wait for the stars to align. It don't wait for the mood to be right. It don't ask for permission. It wakes up, shows up, and locks in. That's what separates champions from the rest. It ain't talent. It ain't luck. It's doing what needs to be done, whether you like it or not. Some of y'all only move when you're inspired. That's why your results are inconsistent. You hustle when you're hyped, but fall off when life stops clapping. Let me tell you something. Discipline doesn't need an audience. Discipline is quiet. Discipline don't brag. It just works. It grinds in the dark, knowing the light will come. You don't need to post every workout, every study session, every early morning. You just need to do it, because the work you do when no one's watching, that's the work that builds your future. That's the stuff that separates the average from the elite. See, everybody wants the results, but only the disciplined are willing to do what it takes to get them every single day. And here's what makes you dangerous when you got discipline. You're not predictable. The enemy can't figure you out. Life can't break you down. You don't fold under pressure because you've trained under pressure. You don't slow down when it gets tough, because toughness is your normal. You don't need a good day to have a good performance. That's the killer instinct. That's the edge. That's when people start saying, oh, man, I don't know how he keeps going. She never misses, but you know how. You built that. Brick by brick, day by day, not because you felt like it, but because you were committed to it. You decided once and then followed through 1,000 times. That's discipline. See, discipline don't negotiate. Discipline don't ask, do I feel like it? It says it's on the schedule, so it's getting done. You think winners are always motivated? You think they wake up every day full of energy and excitement? No, they're tired too. They're human too. But they've got systems, they've got routines, they've got rituals. They've trained their bodies and their minds to show up regardless of emotion. And that's what you got to do. Because once you master discipline, you stop needing motivation. You don't wait. You work. You work. You don't wish, you execute. You don't dream. You do. There are two types of people in this world. Those who move when they feel inspired, and those who move until they inspire themselves. Be the second type. Be the one who creates their own momentum through sheer effort. Be the one who gets up at 5 a.m., even when the bed is warm and the world is sleeping. Be the one who eats clean when nobody's watching. Be the one who studies when everyone else is chilling. That's how legacies are built, not in the spotlight, but in the shadows of consistency. Let me say this to you, discipline is freedom. Discipline gives you control over your future. Motivation will leave you vulnerable. Discipline makes you strong. It builds character. It builds resilience. It builds habits that carry you when life tries to knock you off course. And one day when people ask how you made it, you won't say, I got lucky or I was motivated. You'll say, I was disciplined. You'll say, I didn't feel like it, but I did it anyway. You'll say, I showed up even when everything in me said quit. That's the mark of a grinder. That's the mark of someone who's dangerous, not because of what they feel, but because of what they do. Everybody wants the empire. Everybody wants the crown, the throne, the respect, the impact, the success. But the truth is, empires aren't built on comfort. Empires aren't built on wishing. Empires aren't built on excuses. You can't talk your way into greatness. You can't make excuses and expect excellence to show up at your door. The ones who make it, the ones who rise from nothing and build legacy, they do it through one thing: the grind, the daily, ugly, unfiltered grind. Not when it's convenient, not when the timing is perfect. Every single day. Excuses will always give you a way out. Excuses sound good. Excuses make you feel better for quitting. But let me tell you something real. You can't build anything that lasts with excuses. You can't raise an empire on a foundation made of a maybe tomorrow. Every time you choose an excuse over effort, you tear down a brick that could have been a part of your empire. There are people out here who started with less than you, who've been through worse than you, who faced more loss, more rejection, more pain, and still made it. You know why? Because they didn't buy into the excuses. They bought into grit. They bought into grind. While others were complaining, they were creating. While others were sleeping, they were sharpening. While others were doubting, they were doing. Excuses are the language of fear. Grind is the language of faith. And if you believe, really believe in where you're going, you won't let excuses get a seat at your table. You'll starve them out. You'll replace every excuse with action, every complaint with work, every obstacle with effort. You won't wait for opportunity. You'll go out and build it with your bare hands. There are people who talk about what they could have done, what they should have done, what they almost did, but almost did. Almost to never change the world. Almost never fed your family. Almost to never left a legacy. You either did it or you didn't. And the only way you would do it is by grinding when you don't feel like it, grinding when it's hard, grinding when the dream feels far away. You want to build something big? Then you've got to get serious. You've got to get so serious that excuses disgust you. You've got to be allergic to your own laziness. You've got to feel uncomfortable the moment you start rationalizing why you didn't show up. Because excuses don't respect you. Excuses don't respect you. Excuses don't care about your dream. Excuses want to rob you of everything you were born to be, and the only weapon you got against that, the grind. The grind is the only currency that builds empires. Not potential, not talent, not hype, effort, sweat, sacrifice. That's the blueprint. You got to outwork your weakness. You've got to show up on days when your emotions are screaming, or take it easy. That's when it matters most. When nobody will blame you for quitting, but you don't. When the pain is real, but you keep pushing. When you're tired, but you keep showing up. That's how empires are built. Not with loud declaration, but with silent dedication. One workout, one chapter, one rep, one rejection, one more try. That's the grind. And when you stack those days, when you keep showing up even when the results aren't showing yet, that's when you're laying bricks. That's when your empire's growing. You think the greats didn't feel like quitting. You think they didn't have every reason to walk away at some point. They had reason, but they didn't use them as excuses. They turned those reasons into fuel. They turned those reasons into fuel. They turned setbacks into setup. They turned doubt into drive. And that's what you gotta do. Take every excuse you've been telling yourself and flip it. And I'm too tired, it becomes or outlast everybody else. I don't have enough time becomes let me manage the time I've got like a CEO. Oh, I don't feel motivated becomes I don't need motivation. I've got mission. That's the mindset. That's what builds empire. It's easy to talk about what you want. It's easy to post a quote. It's easy to say I'm going to be great. But the grind is where we separate the talkers from the doers. The grind is the gate. And only those willing to bleed, to sacrifice, to show up every single day, only they get in. Only they rise. Only they get to look back and say, I built this. Because they didn't let excuses drive the car. They put excuses in the trunk, locked them in, and hit the gas anyway. You don't have to be the most talented. You don't have to be the smartest. You just have to refuse to quit, refuse to settle, refuse to make excuses. Every time you make a decision to grind instead of fold, you lay a brick. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you lay a brick. And eventually those bricks turn into something unshakable, an empire that was built by effort, forged in fire, and designed by destiny. Stop asking for the process to be painless. Stop praying for a breakthrough, but begging for the path to be easy. That's not how this works. If you want greatness, if you want legacy, if you want to walk in purpose, you have to be willing to go through the pain, not around it, not avoid it, not numb it. You got to go through it. Because pain is the price of progress. Pain is not your enemy. It's your passport. You don't get the crown without the cross. You don't get the win without the wound. The people who are battle tested, the people who are legends in their field, they didn't just wake up one day and arrive. They went through hell. They faced the fire. And they didn't run. They didn't make excuses. They didn't tap out when it got hard. They ran through it. They let pain shape them, mold them, refine them. See, pain is part of the contract when you sign up for success. And it's not optional. You don't get to pick and choose the parts of the grind you like. You don't get to skip leg day. You don't get to fast forward through the tears, the sleepless nights, the disappointment. That's where the greatness is born. Not in the moments when everything's going your way, but in the moments when everything's falling apart and you choose to keep going anyway. That's where champions are made. That's where the real ones rise. You got to stop asking a why me and start declaring a try me. Pain doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to develop you. It reveals what's real. It exposes what's weak. It forces growth where you were too comfortable before. And the people who run from pain, they stay small. They stay stuck. They stay average. But the ones who embrace the pain, they expand. They elevate. They evolve. You ever seen a diamond form without pressure? You ever seen a sword sharpen without friction? That's how you got to see your life. Every hardship, every heartbreak, every setback is pressure, is fire. It's the grind shaping you into something stronger. You keep saying you want to be a beast, but you don't want to bleed. You want the rewards, but you don't want the resistance. That's not how beasts are made. Beasts are born in the battle. Lions are forged in the fight. You've got to get to a place where you stop fearing pain and start respecting it. Because pain is a signal. It means you're growing. It means you're in the zone. It means you're being stretched beyond your limits. And that's exactly where transformation began. The problem is, too many of us hit resistance and think it's a sign to quit. No, it's a sign to keep going. It's proof you're on the right track. If it wasn't hard, everybody would do it. If it didn't hurt, it wouldn't change you. So instead of crying about the pain, lean into it. Use it. Let it drive you. Let it fuel you. Don't numb it. Don't hide from it. Run through it. Every time you push through pain, you increase your threshold. You increase your discipline. You build mental toughness that no textbook, no coach, no seminar can ever give you. That's what the grind is. It's a battlefield. It's not clean. It's not pretty. But it produces warriors. And you keep showing up, keep pushing through, keep fighting back. you become unbreakable. You got to stop being so fragile. Life is going to hit you. You're going to fail. People will doubt you, betray you, abandon you. Your body will ache. Your mind will want to quit. But that's when you show who you are. That's when you decide, am I going to let this define me or refine me? Because you don't control what comes at you, but you do control how you respond. And if you respond with grind, if you respond with grit, if you respond with that deep burning of why that nothing can shake, you will make it. You will rise. You will look back and say, oh, that pain didn't break me. It built me. I remember being homeless, sleeping in an abandoned building, eating out of trash cans. That was pain, real pain. But it taught me something. It taught me that I didn't need everything to go right in order to move forward. It taught me that progress don't come from comfort. I wasn't waiting for motivation. I was fighting for survival. And that's what made me. Not the stage, not the spotlight, not the applause. It was the pain. That's where I found my power. And I'm telling you, your pain has a purpose too. But you gotta stop resenting it and start respecting it. You gotta stop saying, why is this happening to me? And start saying, well, what is this doing for me? Because once you change your mindset around pain, you become unstoppable. So when it hurts, good. That means you're in the arena. That means you're alive. That means you're chasing something worth bleeding for. Don't run from the burn. Run through it. Let it mold you. Let it push you past your limits. Let it show you what you're really made of. Because pain is the process. Then the ones who embrace the process, they're the ones who get the prize. You keep waiting to feel like it. That's your biggest problem. You keep waking up thinking motivation is going to walk into your room, grab you by the hand, and say, let's go chase greatness today. No, that's not how it works. Some days you're going to wake up tired. Some days you're going to wake up broken. Some days you're going to wake up and everything in your body, your mind, and your heart is going to scream. And in that moment, motivation ain't coming to save you. In that moment, you've only got one thing to stand on: discipline. That internal switch, that fire you built, that commitment you made when no one was watching. Motivation is loud, but it's short-lived. Discipline is quiet, but it's undefeated. It don't shout. It don't need attention. It just shows up every single day and does what needs to be done. You can't build a legacy on how you feel. You can't build greatness on hype. You need something deeper. You need something stronger. That's what discipline is. It's the foundation. It's the anchor. It's the voice in your soul that says, I don't care how I feel right now, I made a decision. And I'm going to honor that decision even when it's hard, because that's what separates the successful from the spectators. That's what separates winners from wannabes. The winners do it regardless of how they feel. The winners show up when it's raining, when it's dark, when they're broke, when they're tired. Discipline don't ask for perfect conditions. It creates the conditions. You think Kobe got up at 4 a.m. every day just he felt like it. You think Serena trained like a machine because she was in the mood? No, they had the same emotions you had, the same doubts, the same fatigue, but they didn't rely on motivation. They relied on a code, a standard, a way of life. Discipline means you made a choice and you're not going back. It means you do what you said you would do long after the mood you made that decision in has left you. It's easy to be fired up on day one. It's easy to make a vision board, set goals, talk big, but day 50, day 100, day 250 when you still don't see the results you expected. That's where discipline shows up. That's where you separate yourself. Most people fall off. Most people need external hype, need people to clap for them, need the music, the speech, the Instagram quote. But if you want to be different, if you want to be great, you got to learn to grind in silence, to move when nobody's watching, to show up when nobody's cheering. That's discipline. It's not about feeling, it's about decisions. And every time you choose discipline over distraction, you win. You get stronger. You prove to yourself that you're not just here for a season. You're here for a lifetime, that you're not just inspired. You're anchored. Discipline is that voice that says, I'll train even when I'm sore. I'll study even when I'm tired. I'll build this business even when I'm broke. Because your goals don't care about your feelings. Your purpose doesn't wait for motivation. The world rewards consistency, not excitement. So stop chasing hype. Stop waiting to be in the mood. Get up, get dressed, and do the work. There will be days where the alarm clock hits you like a truck. Days where your legs feel like concrete. Days where the dream feels distant and you question everything. But it's in those days that discipline becomes your superpower. Anybody can work hard when they feel good. Anybody can show up when they're winning. But the disciplined ones, they grind through the drought. They plant seeds in the famine. They keep moving when nothing is growing, nothing is blooming, nothing is changing, because they believe in the harvest. That's what makes them different. That's what makes them unstoppable. And that's what will make you unstoppable. Your legacy is not built in bursts. It's built in routine. It's built in those unseen hours. It's built in what you do daily. Motivation gets you started, but discipline gets you results. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the engine. So if you're tired of starting over, if you're tired of quitting every few weeks, if you're sick of being average, make the decision today to show up regardless. Don't wait for inspiration. Be the inspiration. Be the inspiration. Be the one who others look at and say, I don't know how to do it. Be the one who builds momentum through motion, not emotion. Discipline don't need applause. It doesn't care about likes or validation. It just works. It works when you don't feel like it. It works when your motivation is gone. And eventually you look up and realize you built something real. Not a wish, not a fantasy, a life, a future, a name. Because you stayed consistent when it was hard. You didn't flinch when it got heavy. You kept moving. And that's what wins in the end. Not feelings, not hype, discipline. You want success, but you don't want to sacrifice. You want the reward without the struggle. You want the prize without paying the price. But that's not how life works. Nothing worth having comes easy. You got to be willing to give up something today so you can gain something greater tomorrow. Sacrifice isn't about losing. It's about investing. It's about planting seeds in the dirt when nobody else is watching so you can harvest the fruit when it's time. The grind isn't always glamorous. It isn't always fun. It means saying no to the party, no to the comfort, no to the easy path because you see the bigger picture. You're thinking 5 steps ahead. You're playing chess, not checkers. And every decision you make now either builds your future or breaks it. Look, nobody's going to hand you your dreams on a silver platter. If you want to be successful, if you want to live a life of abundance, you have to pay the price. And that price is sacrifice. Maybe it's waking up before the sun while everyone else is sleeping. Maybe it's working overtime when others are going home to relax. Maybe it's cutting out the distractions, social media, hanging with people who don't support you, the habits that keep you stuck. Sacrifice means discomfort. It means being uncomfortable there so you can be comfortable later. You've got to develop the ability to say no now so you can say yes to your future. That's maturity. That's discipline. That's vision. Sacrifice isn't just about time. It's about energy, focus, and priority. You can't do everything and expect to win. You got to decide what's worth your time and what's not. You got to be ruthless with your calendar. When you're grinding, you have to miss out on certain things. Missing the late night hangout, missing the extra sleep, missing the instant gratification. But every choice is a brick in the foundation of your success. If you're not willing to give something up now, you'll end up giving up everything later. Your dreams, your potential, your future. And nobody wants that. You got to be willing to sacrifice the temporary for the eternal. There's a cost to every dream. There's a cost to every vision. The question is, are you willing to pay? Are you willing to show up when it's not convenient? Are you willing to push when it's easier to quit? Are you willing to take the road less traveled, the road full of sacrifices, the road full of setbacks, the road full of hard decisions? Because the rewards on the other side are waiting for those who don't back down. The future you want is waiting for the sacrifices you make today. It doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who work, those who hustle, those who understand that sacrifice is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. You see, sacrifice is a mindset. It's a commitment to your future self. It's telling yourself, I'm worth the struggle. I'm worth the struggle. I'm worth the pain. I'm worth the hard choices. And when you live like that, you start to see the bigger picture. You start to see the value in sacrifice. You realize that every moment you say no to comfort, every moment you say yes to hard work, you're adding to your story. You're writing your legacy. You're building your empire. The people who win in life aren't the ones who take the easy road. They're the ones who take the road that requires sacrifice, that demands discipline, that asks for patience. I'm going to lie, not going to lie to you. Sacrifice hurts, it's uncomfortable. It's inconvenient. It tests your resolve. But that pain, that struggle, that sacrifice is temporary. The reward is eternal. The life you want is on the other side of sacrifice. You got to trust the process. You got to trust yourself. You got to trust that the choices you make today will pay off tomorrow. And here's the thing. Those who understand sacrifice don't resent the process. They embrace it. They thrive in it. They know the grind is where greatness is born. If you want to make it out here, you have to be ready to pay your dues. You have to be ready to let go of what's easy and comfortable. You have to be ready to sacrifice short-term pleasure for long-term success. You have to be ready to do the work nobody else is willing to do. Because the people who make it are not the lucky ones. They're the disciplined ones, the focused ones, the ones who understood that sacrifice is the mission to the life they wanted. They made sacrifices most people wouldn't. They pushed through when others quit. They stayed hungry when others got complacent. Your grind demands sacrifice. Your dreams demand sacrifice. Your future demands sacrifice. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop wishing for easier days. Stop looking for shortcuts. If you want it bad enough, you will sacrifice. You will endure. You will rise. Because at the end of the day, the sacrifices you make now will outlive the excuses you want to cling to. You want to grind, you want to hustle, but sometimes it feels like you're just running in circles. You're putting in the work, but the finish line looks blurry and the prize feels distant. That's when visualization becomes your secret weapon. You got to see it before you believe it. You got to picture your success so vividly that your mind can't deny it. When you visualize your goals, when you paint that picture in your head with every detail, you're programming your brain to work like that future is already real. You create a mental movie of your success, and that movie fuels your fire every day, even when the grind gets hard, even when motivation fades. Your mind becomes the engine, your vision becomes the fuel, and your actions become unstoppable. Imagine the life you want. Picture yourself walking into the room where your dreams happen. See the success on the other side of all this hard work. Feel it in your bones. Feel the energy, the pride, the joy, the accomplishment. Visualize the moment when you conquer what once seemed impossible. When you can't see results yet, your mind will try to give up, tell you it's not worth it. But if you keep seeing that success clearly, if you keep replaying that vision, you'll start to believe it's possible. And belief is the foundation of every victory. Without belief, the grind is just noise. With belief, the grind becomes your pathway to greatness. Visualization is more than just dreaming. It's training your brain to respond as if your success is already happening. When you see yourself winning, your brain releases the chemicals that boost and confidence and reduce fear. You start to act like the person you want to be before you even become them. You catch yourself making decisions, setting standards, and creating habits that match the vision you hold in your mind. It's like rehearsing for a performance. You don't wait to step on stage and figure it out. You practice, you prepare. You see yourself nailing over and over. So when the time comes, you deliver. That's how visualization turns dreams into reality. Every champion in every field uses this secret. They don't just train their bodies, they train their minds. Michael Jordan saw himself sinking the winning shot before he ever took it. Oprah Winfrey pictured herself speaking on the world's biggest stages long before the cameras were rolling. Every time you hear about someone crushing it, remember, they built that success in their mind first. They imagined the sweat, the struggle, the applause, and the trophy, and that vision gave them the strength to keep grinding when things got tough. You gotta do the same. You gotta build a mental fortress of success so strong that nothing can shake your commitment. But here's the truth. Visualization only works if you back it up with work. You can't just daydream and expect the grind to show up. You have to take that clear picture in your mind and run towards it with everything you've got. Visualization gives you clarity and focus. It keeps your eyes on the prize when distractions try to pull you away. When you feel tired, when you feel lost, when you want to quit. That mental image reminds you why you started. It reconnects you with your purpose and your passion. It fuels the hustle because you've already seen the reward. It turns your struggle into a stepping stone, your pain into progress, your sacrifices into success. Sometimes the grind feels long because you don't see immediate results. That's when visualization keeps you patient and persistent. You see the long-term picture, the full journey from the first step to the finish line. You understand that every setback is just a part of the process. You visualize yourself pushing through those moments, standing tall when others fall, and that mental rehearsal strengthens your resolve. You get to the point where quitting isn't even an option because in your mind, you're already winning. You've seen it too many times not to go get it. Visualizing success also helps you deal with fear and doubt. When you picture yourself overcoming obstacles, hearing the cheers, feeling the pride, you diminish the power of fear. You're no longer scared of failure because you mentally prepared for it and seen yourself rise above it. You've created a mindset where challenges are just part of the story, not the end of the story. This kind of mental toughness is what separates the greats from the quitters. So when you grind with a clear vision, grind with a purpose. Grind with that picture in your mind so real, it keeps you moving even when everything inside you wants to stop. If you want your grind outlive your excuses, you must learn to visualize your success like your life depends on it, because it does. Your vision is the blueprint. Your belief is the foundation, and your grind is the construction. Without visualization, your efforts scatter. With it, your efforts align. You stay locked in. You stay hungry. You stay relentless. When it comes to grinding and chasing your dreams, people often think that it's about those explosive moments, those bursts of energy where you push harder than ever, where you hustle like your pins on it for just a day, a week, or a month. But here's the truth that most people miss. Consistency beats intensity every single time. You could have the most intense work session, the hardest grind days, the longest hustle nights. But if it's not so nice, but if it's not consistent, it won't last. One day a fire doesn't make a champion. 1 week of passion won't build a legacy. It's what you do day in and day out, no matter how small, no matter how ordinary, that separates the winners from the quitter. Because consistency creates momentum, momentum creates progress, and progress creates results that last. Intensity is flashing. It feels good to say, I worked out 10 hours straight, or I studied all night. But what happens after that? Can you do it again tomorrow? Can you do it again tomorrow? Can you keep showing up when the excitement fades and the fatigue sets in? Most people can't. That's why they burn out. They crash. They quit. But consistency, that steady, unrelenting commitment to showing up and doing the work, no matter how tired or discouraged you feel, that's where the magic happens. It's the drip, 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 drip of effort over time that carves out the mountain. It's the small wins every day that add up to massive success. So you gotta ask yourself, are you consistent or are you just intense? Think about the greatest athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, the legends in every field. They don't just work hard on their best days. They work hard every day. Put it aside. Even when they don't feel like it, even when nobody is watching, even when the results aren't immediate, they build habits that keep them going. They create routines that lock them into success because they know it's not about how hard you work once. It's about how hard you work every day without fail. That's consistency, and consistency beats intensity every time. It's the slow and steady effort that wins the race, not the sporadic sprints that leave you exhausted. Intensity might get you a quick win, but consistency builds a legacy. When you commit to showing up consistently, you create trust in yourself. You prove that you're reliable. You prove that you can handle the long haul. And that mindset shift is crucial because success isn't a sprint. It's a marathon. It's about endurance, patience, and resilience. And those qualities are forged through consistency. When you're consistent, you train your mind and body to operate at a high level every day. You build stamina, focus, and discipline. And that's what keeps you going when others quit. The grind can feel overwhelming when you look at it like a mountain to climb in one day. But if you break it down into daily steps, small, consistent actions, it becomes manageable. It becomes something you can control. Every day you show up, you move closer to your goals. Every day you stick to your routine, you reinforce your commitment. And over time, those small, consistent actions compound. They build momentum that's unstoppable. You start to see progress, and that progress fuels your motivation. You start to believe in yourself more, and that belief is what keeps the consistency alive. Consistency also protects you from burnout. When you try to go all out with intensity, you risk wearing yourself down fast. You risk pushing so hard that you injure your body, drain your energy, or lose your mental focus. But when you're consistent, you pace yourself. You build a sustainable rhythm. You create habits that fit into your lifestyle, not habits that burn you out. You learn how to balance hustle with rest. And that balance is key to long-term success. Because the goal isn't just to grind hard for a little while, it's to keep grinding until you reach your dreams. There will be days when you don't feel motivated. Days when you don't feel motivated. Days when the excuses start to pile up. Days when the distractions are louder than your dream. And on those days, consistency is what saves you. It's what gets you out of bed and into action, even when you don't want to. It's what keeps you grinding when the fire inside is low. Because consistency isn't about feeling like it. It's about doing it anyway. Showing up even when it's hard. Putting in the work even when it's uncomfortable. And over time, those consistent efforts build a foundation so strong that nothing can shake it. If you want your grind to outlive your excuses, you have to understand the power of consistency. You can't rely on intensity alone. You can't depend on motivation or inspiration to carry you through. You've got to build habits that make success inevitable. You got to commit to the process every single day. You've got to be relentless, patient, and persistent. Because when you're consistent,